Hello, everybody. I am Stuart Sternberg, and tonight I am joined by Lottie Ferguson, Kurt, and Pee Wee Herman. Uh, John Maloney is here. And for those who are watching us on Talk Show, you can see John is all dressed up. He had an event to go to tonight. So,
Right here.
yeah. So, John, we're all ears. No. So anyway, tonight we're going to be discussing our top 10 Disney queues at night. And we'll start with number 10. But before we get into that, I got a couple of things I want to mention. I had the pleasure of going, thanks to one of my neighbors who got us tickets, a bunch of us tickets here where I live, to go see a preview of Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life. And I've got to tell you something. It was phenomenal. It's just like going to see a Broadway show, maybe even better in a lot of cases. It was just a phenomenal performance. It was wonderful, from the lighting to the actors to the performers, you name it, from start to finish. An absolute amazing, amazing, amazing show. That was one thing. And I'm so glad I got to see it. I actually had an opportunity to go tonight, forgetting I had the podcast, but I didn't want to see it 2 days in a row. I needed to let it absorb more, and then I would love to go back and see it again. But something else I want to mention. I got a book in the mail. It is the Walt Disney World 50 Years of the Most Magical Place on Earth. And I would love to thank the person who sent it to me, but I have no idea who sent it to me. There was no note there. There's nothing. I looked in the book, didn't see anything, wasn't signed off by anybody. I have no idea who sent it. So if the person who sent it is listening, God, I thank you so much. But I really would like to properly thank you. So please let me know who sent it so I can thank you properly. I really would appreciate that. Okay, so tonight's show. Let's see. We've got top 10 Disney World queues at night. John and I did a show a few weeks back on top 10 Disney World attractions at night. So now we're going to do Disney World queues. John, why don't you start us off with your number 10 selection?
Oh, my number 10. Yeah, this was a little difficult picking the order. So I got the 10 out, but I think the first one that I'm going to go with is one that applies mostly right now because of its popularity and because you end up waiting outside. And all the ones that I picked have some form of outside queue, because to me, if you're waiting inside, it's not that there may not be a different feel, but I went with all that had some sort of outdoor queue. But the first one that the one that I have for number 10 is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And the reason that I have it on there is because there's usually a longish line, since it's still popular, and you're out in the courtyard and you get to experience. I think Disney Hollywood Studios has a special kind of feel and magic at night with the lights, and it's a different atmosphere from Magic Kingdom. So I like that courtyard out there, and you get to see the Grauman's Chinese Theater lit up, and you get to see Echo Lake and some other things. So that's my number 10, is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Okay. Lottie, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Toy Story Midway Mania. It's really cool to see, especially this time of year when they've got I think you can see Rex and Jessie dressed up for the holidays. You can see them from certain parts of the queue. And then you've got the game board on the wall. Just that queue and the little cutouts that are right there in the front. So like if your family's standing outside and they're not in line, they could see you through the little queue. I just think it's a cool line, especially at night.
Yeah. Can't argue with you. It's not my pick, but I can't argue with you. Kurt.
I'm also staying in Andy's backyard, only I'm going across over to Slinky Dog and a Slinky Dog Dash. That outdoor queue is pretty neat with all the spotlights on it and showing everything up at night as well.
Oh, very good.
I mean, the whole area, when you think about it at night, is just awesome because of all the lights. But I couldn't say that because it's specific to queues only, especially if you're stuck walking around on the outside. Then you do have all those lights up there, though. So I guess technically I can get away with saying that.
I'm in the same park as both you and Lottie, but I did not go with either of those attractions. I went with Star Tours.
Oh, that's higher up. Okay.
Mhm.
It was higher up. So.
Well,
It's good.
I had Star Tours at number 10 was because I couldn't. Every other attraction I have that are higher up on my list, I just didn't see myself moving that up for various reasons. So I put Star Tours at number 10, but it could easily have been in the middle of the pack too. That's how close some of these queues are.
Mm.
All right, John, you're number 9.
Well, my number 9 is somebody else's number 10, and that's Slinky Dog Dash. It's another one of those attractions. It's in Toy Story Land, so it's not Midway Mania, but it's still Andy's backyard. You get to see the lights of the backyard, and certainly, just like every other land, Toy Story Land has a different feel at night, and there's fun lighting because it's Andy's backyard. So that's my number 9.
Okay, great. Lottie.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is my number 9. I love being in front of the Chinese theater, and the lights at night are just fantastic.
Kurt.
I'm actually going to go with, is it really a queue or is it mostly the attraction as you're going through it? It's the Swiss Family Treehouse.
Ooh.
It's
Do we want
beautiful at night.
guys?
That doesn't count. It's not a queue.
Okay, as you're walking around where you can sit, look for all the carvings of all the stick figures. There you go. So there's your queue as you're outside there, when you're stuck in line for an hour and a half to get up to the top of that thing. So I'll go out there with it. So you got to use your flashlight to look for them. How's that?
All right, we're going to allow this under protest.
Okay, there you go.
All right. For my number 9, I went with Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Hmm.
It's very different at night than it is during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I think it's cooler at night, actually. But that was my number 9. John, number 8.
Number 8. My number 8 is Bernie's Couch. No.
Yeah. The dog is back here.
It's quite comfy back there.
Yeah, I have a blanket on it too. I don't know if you can see it. It's a dark one.
My number 8
There you go.
is down this low. I like the feeling of this area at night, but I have it down this low because there's not much of a queue. You don't stand in it for very long, and that's Spaceship Earth. So I love the feel of
True.
Spaceship Earth at night, and some of the lighting effects they put on it now especially are fantastic.
Fantastic.
So I love to see that outside, but unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it doesn't take very long when you get to the point of the day where it's dark outside to get through the queue for Spaceship Earth. So that's my number 8.
Awesome. Bonnie.
Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
That is a fantastic queue at night, especially when you get into the little cave areas, and they've got the little interactive game in there where you can help Scuttle pull all the stuff that doesn't belong out. The rock work is just amazing, and the lighting is great. It's a fantastic queue at night.
Yeah, I had that much higher on my list for the same reason. and I'll get to that later. Kurt,
My number 8 was actually Star Tours. It's at nighttime, all the Ewoks come out.
that's right.
So you can hear them running around up there.
No podcasters we know, I hope.
Yeah,
No.
you never know though. For my number 8, I had Flights of Passage because the whole Pandora section, it marvels with the lights.
That much higher up.
Okay, John, number 7.
7?
Yeah.
My number 7 is kind of a surprise, and it's not even an attraction that I ride very much.
Disney World. That's why it's a surprise.
And I'm going to put 2 honorable mentions in here too. But my number 7 is Tomorrowland Speedway, and like I said, I don't even ride the attraction very much, but when I do ride it, it's at night, and I like the feel, the old time feel of hearing the cars putter by, and you get to see the lights from Tomorrowland around you. It has a certain energy as the people are waiting in line for it. So it's just it has a comfortable feel for me when I think about just such a simple attraction, but I get the feeling of being in the Magic Kingdom, of being in Tomorrowland by waiting in the queue, and I'll only do if it's relatively short. So, but my honorable mentions that go along with it are Astro Orbiter, because it has a similar kind of feel, and I almost never go on it, and People Mover, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, because the queue is very short, but it's just that feeling, that comfortable feeling to me of being in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, the queue is short, but it could take you an hour to get through it.
Well, I don't go on hour-long queues to get on.
Don't either. Okay, very good, John. What?
So I'm sitting here, trying to organize my list because I had to squeeze in number 7, which I completely figured out about it until 30 seconds ago, and that is Winnie the Pooh. The interactive queue, and the lighting and all the little fun things to do are great for kids at night. Helps keep them awake, and I can't wait until all this COVID stuff is over so they can reopen the honey wall.
It's open.
Was it open?
It was open when I was down there.
It was blocked off. They didn't allow people
Really?
through the queue when I was there last week.
Oh, when I was there back in May, they was open because we were sweeping it. It was either May or August, one or the other.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Here's a hint. You don't have to actually touch it. It's the sensors are on the outside. So if you wave your hand past it, it'll actually work still. I wasn't touching that thing.
It should come with hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think, Kurt, you're up.
Oh, I actually, at number 7, that's where I put Mission Space. I love seeing the globe spinning around at night when it's dark. It's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But you don't have to get on the queue to see that.
Well, it's a very short queue, but
that's okay.
The wait's never that long, so you just walk
Mission
right by it.
Space. I mean, come on.
You walk on.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, there's a reason why it's a walk on. If you go on the green, it doesn't even take you out off of Earth. You don't even leave the Earth's atmosphere.
Barely.
Barely. Yeah. For number 7, I had Expedition Everest, which is a great queue during the day, but at night, it illuminates at night. All right, John, number 6.
It illuminates the human condition. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Number 6. Number 6 is a ride that I do not. There's an attraction I don't even do anymore. So I'd rather be in the queue for it. I love the queue for this attraction. I hate the attraction. and that's Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love to see the Tower of Terror from outside, and most of the queue is inside anyway, because it takes you've got multiple stages to your queue
Mhm.
and to the pre-show, but just that eerie, spooky feeling, and I mean, it's such an iconic building, and the lighting they put on it is wonderful, and they've got all the, the special projections they do on it now, but just the standard lighting and the eerie feel. So long as I don't have to go throwing up, so I don't throw up on the elevators. I like I like being in the queue. I like being in the queue downstairs in the basement too, but outside's
Mhm.
cool.
Well, it's even the sign, when the sign lights up,
Yeah.
where it just
Yep.
starts out saying Hollywood
Neon.
Hotel, and then all of a sudden it lights up.
Yep.
Yep.
Now it's got its Christmas decorations up on the tower and snow.
Are they screening it? Are they
Yeah,
doing the projections on there?
doing the projections as well.
Awesome.
All right, Lottie, number 6.
The Spaceship Earth. Even though you're not out there very long, that lighting package. Whoever thought about putting the lighting package on Spaceship Earth? One, I want to know who installed all those tiny little lights at every little intersection, and then who programmed it. It is just mesmerizing
That
to
was
sit there and watch
Magoo.
that. Say that again.
Mr. Magoo did that.
Oh, it's fantastic. And then the lighting that goes all the way around I don't even know what we call the front, that front area of the park, right? Where
The front area of the park.
is that what it's called now? Okay. The lighting they put in around there, and then the lighting package on the monorail, just
It's pretty awesome. All right, Kurt.
Okay, I went with the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's always fun to walk through there. Same reason like with the Winnie the Pooh. There's a lot of interactive stuff you can do inside of there when you're still outside. So I just thought that was really fun.
For number 6, I had Cali River Rapids.
I forget about that attraction.
I always forget about that. That's available at night.
Yeah, this time of year you can ride it at night.
Well, yeah.
But not most of the year. But when you can, it's well worth it. Speaking of things that are well worth it, Mouse Fan Travel is well worth it. So, if you're getting ready to book your 2022 Disney World vacation or a Christmas Disney World vacation right now, or Disneyland, or if you want to take a Disney cruise, go on Adventure by Disney, if you want to go someplace else in the world, even though Mouse Fan Travel is basically Disney, they've got subsidiaries that do other vacations. So if you want to do a river cruise or something else, Mouse Fan Travel is the place to go, or one of their subsidiaries, because you're not going to find travel agents or travel planners better and well versed at the travel industry than Mouse Fan Travel. They do it all and they know it all. And if they don't have your answer for your question, they will get it for you. What else is great with them? They work within your budget and they do your vacation your way, not the agent's way. It's your way. You can't beat that. And to find out more about Mouse Fan Travel and all their wonderful discounts they've got going on, including resort room discounts at Walt Disney World right now, go to www.mousefantravel.com. That's www.mousefantravel.com. And please remember to let them know that WDW Fan Zone sent you. All right, John, number 5.
Number 5. Well, I've heard this one already from our excellent and top-notch crew, but my number 5 is Expedition Everest. It's arguably one of the best queues in Walt Disney World, but it feels a little extra spooky, eerie, supernatural when you're going through at night, just like a lot of the other queues do. So it's not at my top, but I put it at number 5.
My number 5 is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's just a fun queue to be in anyway, but at night it's pretty special.
My number 5 was Test Track.
Hmm.
It's a very short outdoor queue, but as you're standing there and those cars start buzzing overhead,
Mhm.
that excitement starts to build. So
Yeah.
especially when you really can't see it. Sometimes you can see the sparks coming through there. It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
My number 5 is Pirates of the Caribbean. It's, you're not outside for very long. Actually, you're not really outside at all, but it's just that scary, spooky, creepy pirate atmosphere inside that just gets me. You go in there, when you go through the caves or whatever, or not caves, but the walkway. It's just I kind of like it at night. I like it better at night than during the day.
Well, it blends well, I think, is what you're saying. So
Right.
it's got a feeling of night when you're inside it. The whole attraction is dark, but it blends to the outside and becomes more seamless going from the outside to the inside.
Thank you for helping me out there because I'm just like at a loss for words.
Ah,
or putting a thought together for that matter. Okay, John, number 4.
4.
number 4. My number 4 is Flight of Passage from Animal Kingdom. It's a great attraction, and it can be a long queue. I have never had to stand in a long queue. The only time I've ever done it before is when I had a fast pass for it. So we'll have to see how I get on it now in the world without fast pass. But to your point before, Stuart, to be able to see Pandora at night and the outside of Flight of Passage just blends into the land of Pandora. You're in Pandora. I like just that extra opportunity to soak it up in the queue and with all the foliage around you and all the luminescence. So that's my number 5 or number 4, Flight of Passage.
All right, Monty.
My number 4 is Everest, Expedition Everest. Um, the mountain, just walking up and seeing it before you get there, and all of the prayer flags, and then you get in and you see everything from base camp, and it's just it's one of my favorite queues. I when I'm there, I usually take pictures, landscape pictures of certain parts of queues and different places in the park, and then I use them as my desktop at work. So when I'm annoyed, I can right click and change the background, and I have another desktop. But by far the attraction with the most images on my desktop is Everest.
Mm.
Just really really photogenic.
All right, Kurt.
Hold on. Is this when you're annoyed at work or at your children that are normally on your desktop background?
My children are never on my desktop.
Never on your background? Okay.
It's always
work.
my phone
Okay.
background, my desktop background. I can see my kids in person. Disney.
Yeah. Okay. You're like me then. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So my number 4 is Smuggler's Run. Just like Stuart said, when you walk through that tunnel and you see the Millennium Falcon at night, the way they light it up and everything all around there, and hearing the air pouring out and everything else, it's different at night than it is during the day.
All right, my number 4 is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. There's something about it at night, it makes the line feel like it's moving a little faster too, and it's fun. All right, John, number 3.
Number 3, this has the interesting distinction of being a queue in which I have never stood at night. Actually, let me correct that. It's a queue in which I've never stood, period. And it's Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Because the couple of times I've done Remy, I wanted to make sure that I was going to see it, and it was a tight weekend because it was a wine and dine half marathon weekend. Didn't have a lot of time, so I actually paid for the lightning lane to do it. But I love the feel of that new section in the overall Paris pavilion, the overall France pavilion, and you see the sign for Gusteau's outside. It's just got that unique feel of being in Paris, in France. and I just like it. And to me, the World Showcase itself has such a unique feel at night. All of the different countries and their pavilions, but it's brand new, and I really like the architecture and the feel of of France back there, and so that's going to be my number 3.
Mm.
All right, good choice. Lottie.
I'm sad that I didn't think about that one. I've only done that queue at night, and
Ah.
I didn't even think to add that one to my list. My number 3 is Tower of Terror.
Mm.
I also don't frequent that attraction. But just the air of the air of mystery and foreboding it just makes that a really cool queue at night, especially around Halloween.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kurt.
My number 3 is Splash Mountain. So they used to, I don't know if it still do, but in those little houses as you're walking around, Chippendale's houses, you can hear them talking in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always fun because people seem to be more mellow at night as you're walking through the queues, it seems like. So it just seems quieter. I don't know how else to explain it. So as you're walking through, you can actually hear what's going on. It's kind of nice.
My number 3 is Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. And for the same thing that Lottie had mentioned earlier, I think that attraction queue was purposely made for the nighttime because it's one of the best attractions. I think it's one of the best and most underrated attractions or queues, and not attractions, but queues in Walt Disney World. So that was my number 3. Okay, John, we're down to the final 2.
A final 2. Wow.
Number 2.
And I have one that might be other people's number 1, but my number 2, and you'll find out when I get to my number 1. But my number 2 is Haunted Mansion, and it's very evident. The Haunted Mansion is not as, to use Lottie's term, foreboding in the daytime. I mean, you hear the wolves howling, but at night, the Haunted Mansion and that imposing stone structure is very intimidating at night, and you can almost feel the ghosts around. You see the graveyard before you go in, and you see the graveyard when you come out. They've got the hearse there, and all those background noises. It is a very well themed attraction on the outside, both in the way it looks and in the way it sounds, and on top of that, in the way it feels at night.
All right, Lottie.
My number 2 is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Just looking out, getting to the, I think somebody already mentioned the I guess the little tunnel area overlooking Millennium Falcon and the rest of Galaxy's Edge, but also the data pad. There's an interactive game that you can play while you're in the queue, and it's just a lot of fun at night because it's harder to spot the stuff that they're looking for, or they ask you to find in the interactive game. But it's a lot of fun.
Kurt.
Okay, first off, I'm embarrassed. I need to turn in my Disney hard card. I forgot to add Haunted Mansion to my list. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I'm really sorry.
Well,
it's not on my list either.
Now
I'm getting old. It's been a busy week. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But my number 2 is Rise of the Resistance, because as you start to enter that queue, especially at night, you're working your way back into an area where it's dark. There's not a lot going on in there. You're really feeling like you're sneaking in somewhere that you probably aren't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuck that as my number 2.
All right, very good. My number 2 is Tower of Terror. I mean, it actually has the word terror
and the queue.
The attraction. That's right.
Yeah.
And the queue. And you know what? Even when you get inside the inside part at night, it takes on a different feel,
Yeah.
much like the Haunted Mansion does. So that was my number 2 because after all, this is the top 10 Disney World queues at night. So that was my rationale for it anyway. All right, John, number 1. Now we know your number 1 is not the Haunted Mansion.
That's
So
true.
pray tell, what did you have for number 1?
My number 1 is the Jungle Cruise.
Mhm.
And
Why?
there, there,
That I had that as an honorable mention. Yeah, that's a good one.
well, so to me, there are a number of reasons because the Jungle Cruise queue has more going for it than just, the theming of the bamboo. There are a lot of things on the wall, like pieces of paper and notes and artifacts, of the jungle. But it takes on a different feeling when you've got these lights that are flickering, almost as if you're in the jungle. But it's got a lot of music and narration.
Yes.
So it's got old time radio programs playing, and you get the feeling like you're back in the 30s.
Mhm.
You've got radio narrators on there, and you've got people talking on the shortwave radio, and it just really fits you into that setting. And when it's at night and when you see the foliage is dark, it makes it a little scarier, a little more unknown. And the other thing that I like on top of that, and I think I've talked about this in shows before, is when they do the Jingle Cruise and they add that extra lighting, the extra holiday lighting. They don't overdo it, but it just adds something extra. So to me, it is a cue that really puts you into a time and a place that fits very well for the dark, and so that's why I picked the Jungle Cruise.
Well, John, you tell a very compelling story for making it number 1. But
Oh,
under
yeah.
no way
You
should
disagree?
that be number 1 on anyone's list.
But that's why it was my honorable mention, because
I-
honestly, it really, you feel like you're falling into the Twilight Zone when you're walking through
Yeah,
there.
I
You go back in time, yeah.
Out of Africa.
Yeah.
On the top 10 list, not so sure, but they make a very compelling story.
But Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater is my favorite restaurant too. So
Well,
Is it? I didn't know
enough
that.
said.
no, it's just,
Is
that's
that
just
oh,
for
okay?
Stuart. That's just for Stuart.
I got it. All right, Lottie, what's your number 1? Please don't
Um,
cruise.
it's Pandora, Flight of Passage.
Yeah.
Just the bioluminescence, is that what they call it? And the waterfalls and all of the greenery and the sight of the floating mountains. And I love being in Pandora at night. And if you can't get in the queue at night, a great thing to do is to head over to Nomad Lounge and get outdoor seating on the little patio out there that's overlooking the water and the entrance to Pandora. It's a great place to just sit and chill and have some fantastic drinks and see the lights of Pandora without actually having to be in the queue or get over in there in the area. Pandora at night's the best.
Better alternative to the Nomad Lounge, especially if you're a foodie, is Satuli's Canteen. To get noodles or rice or.
That's a stop I always make.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, number 1.
I have to second that. The first thing I thought of when you said we're doing queues at night was Flight of Passage, because the lighting alone on that lagoon that's right at the end, right before you start to walk in, you got it from the front view, you get it from the back view. That alone, with everything glowing, you've got, all the happy animals are gone. Now you got the predators coming out at night, the sound of them coming out there, getting ready to eat you. It's incredible. And you don't want to talk about photo spots. Oh my gosh.
So many.
Perfect.
And my number 1, I think everybody could probably guess this one, was the Haunted Mansion. There's something about it at night, especially the queue now. My God, the queue that they've changed with the music coming out in the one section, whereas the fountain that comes out of the or the water leaking out of the grave at the other part.
Whenever he spits. Yeah.
Phenomenal. The sounds of the wolves. It's like you're scared S-less before you even get into Haunted Mansion when you get in the queue at night. It's the perfect queue at night in the perfect place.
I have seen people jump at night. They ignore it during the day, but at night when that light is on Madame Leota's tomb and her eyes open up, I've seen people jump and scream because they had no idea it was happening. And it happens all the time. What is it, every 15, 20 seconds?
Yeah,
So it's always happening.
Right. I haven't seen anybody jump because it happens so often. It's just like, to me, it's second nature.
Well, at nighttime, that's when people notice it because they're already creeped out, and then it's like, ah!
You know what's great to do at night? I think it's harder at night. Look for the wedding ring.
You know what that was, don't you? It wasn't an actual wedding ring. They used to have a gate there. So that's what's left from it. That's what it was. I'm serious. I'm like, oh, it looks like a ring, but it's not. That's what it was.
So it actually took us a lot. I actually scheduled the show for a lot longer tonight because I thought this was going to take a longer period of time for us to get through. But we got through this relatively quickly, 30 some odd minutes, which was great. So, John, I know you mentioned a couple of honorable mentions before. Do you have any other honorable mentions?
Well, I have a couple that. What's that?
Not a book, just a few.
No. There was one that was not on my list, and I was kind of surprised that it wasn't, and that was the Kilimanjaro safaris, and I thought about it, and it certainly has a different feel, but when you're walking through and it's not that you go on the Kilimanjaro safaris all that often in the dark. I think we talked about this attraction in the dark before. It's unique, but you never know whether you're going to see the animals. But when you're walking through the jungle, there's just not a lot to see. So it's not a honorable mention, but it's one that I was thinking was going to be a natural fit until I thought about it. And I thought, well, you really can't see all that much. So it's unlike the other ones that we talked about because you get to see the land around it. You get to see special lighting, but unfortunately, that's not true for a Kilimanjaro safaris.
Lottie, did you have any honorable mentions?
I did not have any honorable mentions. I do feel bad for not including Haunted Mansion on my list at all. So maybe that'll be my honorable mention.
Kurt, how about you?
I had a couple. So not necessarily the entrance queue, but the exit queue, the Toy Story Mania. Lots of fun stuff to explore there. As you're coming out, you're seeing all the toys all over. The exit queue to the Haunted Mansion, where you're coming out and they actually have the light on Toad. So give the boys some respect. And Big Thunder Mountain, entrance or exit. There's so much to see in those.
I actually had that in my top 10 list and pulled it out because I just thought the others fit better. But my honorable mentions were All the Mountains, Splash, Big, and Space, and Peter Pan's Flight was another honorable mention I had. And that was it. All right. So, what's new? I really did not expect us to get through that. I hope everybody enjoyed our top 10. I think most of us had the same things on our list, a few variations here and there, maybe in different spots, but our top 10 lists were mostly, John, it's for anybody watching us on Talk Show, it's so hard to take John seriously with the ears he's got, the mouse ears he's got on, his freaking bow tie. He looks like Howdy Doody met Mickey Mouse. Now, Lottie, on the other hand, ears go very well and look very fashionable.
Yes, my Loki ears and my Wakanda shirt.
Yeah.
Thing going here.
Yeah, that's two different variants right there going.
We're marveling at your attire.
John, that's a dad joke. How'd you get that one? That's not even possible.
Yeah, right. Who am I to have a dad joke?
I mean, come on now.
I'm not qualified.
Bernie has a joke that, for those who don't know, every now and then my dog Bernie tells me a joke that I put on Facebook for everybody. They're usually corny dad type jokes. He told me one that I haven't put on there yet because it involves the death of an animal. So it might be no animals got hurt, no animals died, but it involves the death of an animal. So I don't know. I've been debating whether I should put it out on Facebook for Bernie or not, because I know how some people react to things.
I honestly thought Bernie was going to fall off the couch tonight. There's a couple times he just keep leaning back farther and farther.
Yeah. You have to see it. You should have seen him before. He was like leaning over with both his paws out front and his head halfway off the couch. And I'm just like, just jump already.
Yeah. And he's one substantial dog, let me tell you.
Right.
He's 90 pounds.
He's a tank.
Yeah, he is. He's all muscle.
So
if he wants to go left and I want to go right, guess what? We're going left.
We're going left.
Love that dog. Yeah, so I thought this was a good top 10 list for people. If anybody's got any other top 10 list idea for us to do, we'd be happy to do them sometime in the future. I know we've done others in the past. I thought the top 10 we did the other week, John, the top 10 attractions at night, went over very well. We got some good feedback on that from our listeners too. So
have we done top 10 dark rides?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
No, I honestly, so we can do that.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. If not next, let me just make a note of that.
Maybe we say I'll start my list now.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Unless anybody has something else they want to add before we head out of here.
Completely off topic. If you get the opportunity to go and see Genesis, do it. Great show. Great show.
Yeah, I got to see them years ago, so
yeah.
I'm sure it's a different show now than it was about 15 years ago.
A lot of same songs. It was very impressive how well these guys don't sound like 70-year-old guys.
And if we're talking
except for Phil.
And if we're talking about rock musicians, Bruce Springsteen should be touring next year in 2022 with the E Street Band. So hope everybody gets a chance to see him. Great show. Always a great show. I wonder if he'll do any 3 or 4 hour marathon shows like he has been doing in the past.
Only if he's got a chair.
You know what? He seems to be a very energetic, what is he, 71 or 2?
71, 72, yeah.
He seems to be very energetic for his age, and band does too. So I'll bet you he'll be bouncing around and flying across the stage.
Probably true.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We will be back. We'll be back recording another show at the end of the week and for the beginning of the week. So we'll have a brand new show for everybody, either late Sunday night or early Sunday morning.
Monday morning.
Monday morning, sorry, at the latest early Monday morning. So until then, be safe. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Mickey. Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
Well, this is the point that I often give you a little musical rendition, but just for Stuart, I decided to give you just a little excerpt from the Jungle Cruise queue, and that is, passengers returning from the jungle are advised to hold their baggage claim tickets. Guests not returning needn't worry about it. We hope you all return next week. Bye-bye.